Welcome at the factory. We were waiting more than 2 years to have you here, and it was a long time, and we are really proud to show you today the company with all the manufacturing equipment and all the historical items. Let's start the tour. But maybe a little bit of story in the front. In the year 95, we started the business basically half a mile away from here at the house of my parents, and in a two-double garage. We bought just one welding machine and one turning lathe. We still have it here, and produced the very first bikes. It was a long journey. Now, after 26 years, we are almost back, like half a mile away. We were at an old farm building. The old farm building is now 15 miles away from here. But since 2018, we are now happy to be here in this building. This was a former cake factory, and we have remodeled everything in here according to our requirements. Let's walk a little. We have a big energy and raw material crisis at the moment, and I'm very all this aluminum what we store here brings us in a situation that we are still relatively good in the position to deliver bikes and frames. We purchase really a lot of aluminum once a year only in order to have this safety. And that brings us in the position that we are not so depending on dealers and something, because we buy the aluminum directly from the factories. You have to buy a lot, but that's worth it. Within the factory, you see all the different bikes here. These are bikes from the last 25 years. My friend Thomas von der Bruggen, called Bikebauer, he has basically a Nicolai museum with more than 40 different bikes built up, and we have just brought just 7 of them, iconic ones, to the factory. Old gearbox bikes, crazy stuff what we have done in the past. So the technology and the process how we produce stuff is on different models very pretty much the same. So we take the raw material, we cut the raw material in slices using the saw over there, chop it in blocks, we chop it in blocks, and then we machine it. Here, this one is a good example. You have this one is used in our e-bikes. It's an e-box motor housing. The raw material is in big extrusion, and we machine it down to the shape we have here. You can see here we have this is a little 5-axis machine, able to turn the part in all directions like you want it, and it machines basically 75% of the part completely ready. This is a 7000 series aluminum. This is also the reason why we have to order so much material, because they have to. This is tailored basically to our shape. You cannot buy it from a wholesaler. So the first step is here. Second step is on this machine. So, and after this machine, the whole part is ready. Yeah, we move further. If you work at Nicolai, you are a trainee, what you will learn how to program such CNC machines. We have more than 350 different parts running on the machines. Here we see another block, raw material, and the dropouts coming from that. Right and left. Just to give you an idea, you always need two setups to machine the part, and it takes, for this specific part, it takes 18 minutes at the first side and another 19 minutes at the second side to machine it. These parts are relatively small. We walk now over to the next machine and I'll show you bigger parts. Yeah, on this machine we just take care about the tubings. This is a very thick tubing for the e-bike, for the e-box bikes, multi-chamber before machining, and this one is after the machine. We do everything in one step, including frame number, frame size. The whole tube will be machined completely ready. And fitting for that, we try to minimize the welding. Maybe like 5 years ago, we would have made this part from three single parts, but instead of doing that, we now take a bigger chunk of material and machine it in one, or basically two operations. This is the first operation, the raw block machined with like 50% of the part, and then the second operation until it is ready like this. Then this makes it simple for the welders. Fits together pretty easily. Yeah, but and then another secret is how can we achieve that flexibility? If you look at the Nicolai homepage, you see almost 20 different models, and each model in 5 different frame sizes. How do they manage it to produce it? I'll show you here. So this machine takes care about cutting the down tube, seat tube, and top tube. All the programs for every single frame, no matter if it is an G1 or Saturn or e-box, is in there, and the guy, he's able to make 2 of this, 3 of this, 5 of this, 10 of this. He's pretty flexible. The only thing what he needs to do is to get the jig. Here's the welding jig. He needs to get the welding jig from the warehouse, clamp it here, and then he can tack the frame using the TIG welder. He will tack it here on the jig, just a little bit to take it out. So the target is to be able to manufacture different models in different sizes, totally without any order, to be very flexible, to be able to produce just that what the customer wants, what the customer needs. Show you even more here. When we have a specific order, For example, here, that's a Saturn 14. We just take all the needed parts, put it in a box, and then from there we cut the tubes, then the tubes move over, the frames are tagged, hanging here in the wagons. We have always like 8 frames in here, and this wagon basically is moving through the production from pre-welding to reaming, aligning, welding ready, aligning, oven, preparing. That's the rivets for bottle holders, coating, pre-assembly and assembly. And you see we have mixed models here. We have Saturn, we have E-Box, maybe a G1 is somewhere here, no. Yeah, but everything what's needed for these frames, it's in the wagon, all the small parts, to be able to produce it pretty flexible. So next step is welding. Follow me, please. Here we are in the welding department. Chief welder Sasha is doing some welds today, so people can look over his shoulder. That is happening here. It's not happening in one step. So the welding is happening in several steps. So here we have a frame still tagged here and here, just one single welding line ready up here at the head tube. There's a certain secret what welding needs to be done first, second, etc., what in the welding. And in between the different welding steps, you always have the alignment. Then the frame goes out there on an alignment table, and everything will be aligned to be really precise, because the bike will only handle fine if the head tube is super precise according to the bottom bracket, according to the rim. Sometimes bikes, I would say, if you go to a bike shop, 7 of 10 bikes are not straight, but crooked. that's what I would guess, just because they did not take the needed effort to align the frames, or they had not the ability to. So
you say you align it between every single weld step? Every weld step?
Yeah, basically 2. We do one main welding, we align it, and then we do the shock, the front shock mount, etc. That's the second alignment there. Right. And then after that it goes to the oven, and after the oven it will stay straight. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and one other secret is the geometry. When we have seen the welding jig, so the welding jig has basically a different geometry than the ready product, because due to the welding you have also deformation here in certain directions. So basically you need to weld to tag the frame in a wrong geometry in order to get out the frame in the right geometry. So because you can maybe align the frame in this plane, but you cannot align the head tube in this or that direction, because you want it very stiff in that direction. Yeah, so that's other secrets, and it's easy to speak about it, and this is why I don't mind to tell it to the world, but it's not easy to do. Yeah. So I'm not afraid that somebody will copy it. So, yeah. Next station is the machining of the frames after the heat treatment and the welding. That's what we are really proud of. That is happening over there. It took us really a few years to design and program that machine. So what we do here is first of all, the machine is able to measure. So the machine can measure, for example, when you have a frame like a hardtail frame, the machine can measure. You put the frame on the machine, and the machine can measure the position and the crookedness of the bottom bracket before, and then it knows exactly how crooked, and I'm talking about lower, like 0.2 millimeter or something. So then it knows exactly what the deformed position of the bottom bracket is due to the welding, and then it can do precisely the machining according to that. After that, you really have a total rectangular bottom bracket, because you do not want to have basically a crooked bottom bracket. It pedals somehow weird. So that's simple thing, but also you find lots of bikes out there having a crooked bottom bracket. You will not notice that just from looking, but it is like that. Also, what we are able to do on this machine is we can ream and machine all the pivot points after welding, so that no deformation is happening at the frame when it comes to the preciseness of the points for the rear swing arm or the lever. Also here you see the very big tool over there on the top. That's a big reaming tool for the C-tube. So the C-tube is reamed here. Frame can be clamped here, and whole C-tube is reamed here. That's step number one. Here we have step number two. Same process, different or a little bit different process, because the whole frame is clamped here in order to machine the head tube. That's also when the head tube is somehow machined crooked. Steering behavior is really weird. So first thing what we do, we measure, is the head tube really straight to the C-tube, and then we machine it inside, and here the flat surface, both sides. After that, the frame is completely ready and goes to the paint shop. Here it gets a little side notice. Here the rivets will be set for the bottle holders and cable holders. And now we go into the painting department.
Hello, hi.
Hey, Chris. Okay, here we are, painting department. With Nikolai Bikes, you have three possibilities. Frame one is just raw. You see here hanging a raw frame. Many of our customers just using the frame like it is in raw condition. Second possibility is the powder coating. Here, a very nice metallic orange color, flashy orange, or sunburst orange, right? And we have a possibility to anodize the frame. The picture on the top shows an titanium anodized frame. Anodizing, we only have the possibility to do three colors: bronze or black or titanium. In the past, we have colors, but brighter colors like black, colors like blue or red or green are not very resistant to UV. What is it called? Like to sunlight, and the anodized frame do not look good like that. So, but powder coating is a nice way to achieve different colors. How is that working? You have basically a plastic, a polymer powder you spray it to the frame, and you have a certain, almost like a dusty layer, and when you can still remove it with the finger, it's a very thin paint on the frame, and then when you cover the frame completely, you put it in the oven, and the powder is melting on equal surface all over the frame. You need to be a little bit like an artist to do that, because we have like 3D printed parts sticking here, sticking there, in order to prevent the powder from going into the wrong ways. You know, on these e-box frames, we want to bolt on the shock mounts and the surfaces where you put loads to. You do not want to be covered with color, so that's a tricky one. In order to do the job, you need to be a little bit like an artist. That's that's all what we can say here. I would say next will be the frame after it leaves the paint department. It's almost ready. It needs to be assembled. So we go now to the assembly station, the next one. Please follow me. We go this way. As soon as we receive an order, one guy starts picking all the parts needed for a certain model. Here, basically, it shows all the parts needed for a Saturn 14 GPI, one with the pinning gearbox, and he collects all the little parts needed, because the last thing what you want to do is when the day comes and the frame is ready for assembly, that the little tiny bolt or shim is missing. So that's really something what we do in order to be able to do the assembly pretty quick. Here we see again our wagon with all the different frames on it, and here, for example, we have one of the new Saturn frames, bronze anodized, with all the little tiny parts in there. Everything is prepared for assembly. Waiting for the guys putting it together. We go over there and I'll show you how. And so here other frames are waiting, another hardtail with pinion gearbox and Gates belt. Or here we have e-box frame, raw finish, including all the small parts, waiting for assembly. Here another Saturn frame, two more Saturn frames ready for assembly. But it's not only assembly, also we do take care about straightness again. Rear wheel is placed in, and we check that the position of the rear wheel is super precise in relation to the head tube. That's what I have said before is one of the core quality aspects of a frame, straightness. Shock absorber will be placed in, and now the frame is ready for assembly to a complete bike. complete bike assembly is happening over there. We have different stations to assembly the complete bikes. We will move over there, and then we are almost finished. Yeah, as soon as we receive an order, we print out the parts list, and due to the fact that we are a very small company taking care about bespoke or tailor-made orders, basically every single complete bike is different almost, and so we have for each customer we have one of these boxes, and we have like 70 pieces of these boxes, and everything what is needed for this single complete bikes will be collected in will be collected in this box, and gets a little mark, and as soon as all the marks are there, the guy in the assembly department is able, and he moves over the box to the assembly line, and then he will start doing the assembly. You see two bikes, one e-box and one gravel bike, Argon GX pinion in the works. Like I said, every single bike is different. Here we have raw finished, really big frame size. I would guess it's an XXL, yeah, double XL. Titanium anodized lever, extra lot of parts in titanium anodized. Yeah, very nice one. All the remaining parts here in the box. It will take us a few more hours, then this bike can be delivered to the customer. All right, complete bike is ready. Last step. Yeah, we produce like 50% of our production is human-powered bikes. Another 50% are electric mountain bikes, like this one. Last step, what they get is a software so that they work fine, and then they can be delivered to the customers. Yeah, I hope you liked the tour on this year's in-house show. Really great to have you here. It's an honor that you made all of you invested so much time to come over. Yeah, and I hope we will have fun today and tomorrow. Yeah, thank you. Bye-bye.